Good morning. Honey Harris with you 3 minutes past 9, and the forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, highs around 80. And now joining us in the studio from Realm IQ, Curt Doty is here to talk about all things AI. Good morning, Curt.
Hey, honey. How are you? Good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. You know, I was just saying, the first time you were on, I forget how, it was earlier this year.
Probably a year ago,
It was probably a year ago. And you were talking about AI, and I'm like, what? And now I'm using that ChatGPT for things I'm doing at work for social media, and it's all I ever hear about now.
It's in our lives. It's in everyone's workflow, and a lot of people still haven't adopted it. And that's kind of my mission, is to raise awareness so people are not afraid of it, embrace it, and find out how to really increase their productivity and do stuff that they never thought they could do before.
And as you always say, you do the pros and the cons. It's not like you're just totally naive about it all, but it's good to have the knowledge.
It's good to have the knowledge, and there's so many positive aspects. There's a lot of negative aspects that seem to get in the press a lot, but I try not to focus on that, but I raise awareness and teach about precautions people should take when they sign up for things, and what they're doing when they're uploading their data into what system and what happens with that. And there's certain safeguards that you can take to make sure that you're not giving away the store, so to speak, but use it in a safe and effective way.
And you know, people aren't that smart. When you're using ChatGPT like it's a counselor or a girlfriend, I mean, you know, of course people go crazy with stuff. I mean, that's just common sense.
Yeah, well, I don't know how common sense it is, because you really, if people are looking at AI as a therapist, I think there's a lot of dangers there, and that's coming out with some recent cases and suicides and lawsuits. And so I'm very concerned about that. And in fact, I'm having a guest speaker at our next El Salon in October, Chris Li, who is championing trying to fight that and has created a platform where teenagers and high school and college students can go to a safe place to talk about their issues, because there's not enough services for them. And also at the same time, he's training AI on emotional intelligence, which is not out there. AI does not have empathy. You should not be using it as a therapist. One, they're not licensed. Two, it's really a mirror of yourself. So you're talking to yourself. And so you're not talking with a subjective, qualified therapist. And so you can really go down a rabbit hole. And so I'm very concerned about that. So in terms of advocacy for legislation or regulation around that, I'm all for that.
Well, I'm so glad that you're addressing that next month. And what day is that and where?
That's October 14 at Q Station. We have a new partnership with New Mexico Tech Council. And so we're expanding El Salon down there. So it's pretty exciting news, and I'm looking forward to that session.
But coming up this Thursday and Friday, you're doing an AI marketing for newbies.
Yes, the low-hanging fruit for AI, generative AI specifically, is marketing. And everyone needs marketing. Every company needs marketing. So it's kind of a ubiquitous play and need. And so I did a workshop this summer in July, and it was very successful. And so now I'm doing it again. I had also done a recent one for New Mexico Angels on AI for startups, and that was very successful. So I'm just kind of rolling with that, and now providing that as a monthly workshop, which will be at the Santa Fe Business Incubator, also a new partner in what we're trying to do.
Where is that located?
That's way down Airport Road, so it's kind of down in your part of town, but it's a really nice facility, and they're very committed to helping entrepreneurs and startups with their businesses. And so they've agreed to help me with this effort, and they recognize the importance of it. And Carl McClendon is the partner down there who is doing a great job there as their, program director. And so I'm really excited for that partnership.
And what exactly will you be addressing for AI marketing for newbies, people who have, like me, that didn't know anything about it at all?
Yeah, it's for the AI curious, it's for the AI dabblers, and it's for semi-pros as well. So it's one, come all, and I adjust the class based on a poll I put out before the class, which is I've worked I've done this now 2 times, and I adjust the program based on who's in the room, who are you talking to, right? Primarily, it's people who have subscribed to at least 5 different platforms, and some usually just one platform. And so it's really expanding their horizons beyond ChatGPT to expose them to other wonderful platforms like Perplexity, Gemini, Midjourney, Adobe Firefly. So these are all tools that I use. So if people don't know about them, they don't know like what is possible. And so it's really pulling the curtain to expose that stuff, and people generally get excited. So that's what it's about, and that's who it's for. And we talk about ethics, and we talk about AI literacy. And by the way, AI literacy is not a vocabulary quiz. It is really becoming a criteria for 1, keeping your job, 2, getting a job. It isn't just a nice to have, it's a must have. And so people need to get literate in AI. And what that means is, do you have practical experience? Do you know about the platforms? Do you know about the ethics? Do you know about the possibilities? Do you know about multimoding in terms of the workflow? If you don't have that, you're going to be kind of disqualified from applying for some jobs because you don't have that really relevant experience. So I'm trying to train people to keep their jobs, let alone get new jobs.
And it's really crazy how quickly this is all changing. Oh, in fact, I heard someone say the robots are already here.
Yeah, I haven't seen any robots. That's a whole other play. Robotics, right? AI robotics, that's another thing that's really not part of this world of software that I'm excited about and the tools that we can use in our daily work. And again, human-centered, creative-centered, human-in-the-loop approach to this really combats this myth of the robots. And I'm very concerned about that and advocate that a lot, that it's a human driving it. This is not going to work on its own and just do things miraculously. It needs someone to tell it what to do. And so you have to have an intent and purpose when interacting with the software.
And if people are interested in attending, it's going to be this Thursday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. What do they need to do?
Well, they need to subscribe to a few free platforms, and I have that list on my website at realmiq.com, and come prepared for really rolling your sleeves up and doing the work. And we're going to talk about the work that you're doing and critique it and advise. And it's a lot different than kind of a lecture series that I've been doing for a year now, and it's really about sharing and exploring. And that's kind of a new theme, is exploring. Explore AI with me. And I think that's a really good message. It's an inviting message, and I think that's important to dispel whatever fears people might have.
And what separates this workshop that you're doing is that it's really one-on-one, isn't it?
Well, it's a group, but we go through and I help you one-on-one during the process. I offer one-on-one coaching, but this is really in a room, and collectively we kind of discuss and share. And I think that is important, because when you see other people working with the platform and share their work and talk about it, I think that's really powerful. And then I do demos, live demos during the class, and that's really important, showing how easy it is and practical. And when people see me do this, they go, I had no idea that you could do that. It's like, yeah, you can do this. Let's do it together. I'll train you and really empower yourself to do some really cool things.
Now, this may be a question that is not really answerable in just a couple of moments. But if somebody's listening and they're hearing this and they don't know anything about AI, and say they've got a small business, maybe it's dry cleaning. I don't know why I said that, but still, how could you give an example of how AI could help a business?
Yes. Well, I would turn to social media, which is a very inexpensive way to market your company. And you can do a lot of automation with AI in social media. If you can't afford to hire a social media expert, which I do as well, then, you can do it yourself. And it can create a strategy for you, can create the posts, and create the imagery, create a kind of a sales plan, a tactical plan of how you should approach social media with the products that you're offering, whether it's dry cleaning or plumbing or whatever. It doesn't matter. You have something to sell, something to say, and it will help you kind of get the hunches that you have in your mind and turn them into actionable plans and tactics. And that's a barrier that a lot of companies have. It's like, I don't do it because I just don't know how to do it. And so if you remove that barrier to, wow, I did it, I'm doing it, it can really have an impact on your business.
That's a good example. Now, if people can't attend this week's Immerse, I know you've got several more coming up.
Yeah, so October 2 and 3, November 3 and 4, and December 1 and 2. We're continuing this every month through this great partnership that continues with Hutton Broadcasting. I really appreciate everything that you do and the company does in promoting these events, and the Santa Fe Business Incubator.
And all of them will be at the Santa Fe Business Incubator.
Yes.
Okay. And once again, people can get more information about this and your workshops and your El Salons if they go to your website.
Yes, realmiq.com.
And Curt, I hope you come back soon and talk more about this stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And don't forget, October 14th in Albuquerque, there will be an El Salon down there then.
Absolutely.
Okay, see you soon, Curt.
Thanks, honey.
We'll be back with more in a moment.